Welcome, warriors.
Yay!
I thought about singing Abby, but we didn't talk about it before we hit recorded, so I didn't want to throw you for a loop with a
I,
song
I
today.
appreciate it. And today's definitely a better day than the last time we chatted.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Maybe I'll be like super ready to go for the next one, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good to know. Seed planted for next episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so warriors, we are talking with you all today about something that we've struggled with for
Mm-hmm.
a super long time. I'm going to
Yeah.
go with forever, but especially in adulthood,
Yes.
and that's time management.
Yes.
In adulthood, right? Because when you're a kid, time is managed for you, typically
Right.
speaking,
To
by
an
the adults
extent.
to an extent.
And you get like the consequences pretty quickly. You don't do your
Yeah.
homework, the teacher's upset the next day, or your
Yeah,
parents or whoever cares about your homework, right? Like,
sure.
yeah. So you
But
get
like
that
your
right away.
schedule is sort of given to you by
Yes.
other people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, here are your school hours, and you're also forced to go to school, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do those extracurriculars after school, here are the time frames for that. And so, like, yeah. So, like,
Yeah.
I know for me, my mom was the schedule queen. She
Mm-hmm.
was just, which I think a lot of people's moms were the schedule queens. And I think that most of our warriors that are moms or dads, just people that are in charge of other people's schedules, usually their children,
Mm-hmm.
are familiar with being the kings and queens of having to manage time for not just themselves, but for tiny humans or
Yeah.
big humans or
Yeah.
teens and stuff. And it's just like, truly, I don't know how they do it. I can barely manage my own time, it feels like half the time.
Maybe you would be better just managing someone else's.
Probably because
Yeah.
I don't have to think about anything
Right.
other than saying, like, here's your new schedule, person.
Right.
Make it work.
Right. Right.
I
No, I'm
know.
with you. I will say I think that the iPhone and social media have made it much harder. Like
Elaborate.
after college, I've had like 5 jobs right out of college, like all at the same time.
Mm,
And but I didn't have my own business, so I didn't have to do my own business stuff. I was always on other people's schedules, right? I taught
right.
at a school, I worked at the Gap, I waitressed, I babysat, and I was always on time. I have a thing about being on time, right? It's
Me too.
like
Oh, yeah.
it's like it's like I need to be ready 15 minutes before I need to go, and then I just sit around waiting. Like it's bad.
Yes. In my
Yeah.
jacket,
Yeah.
sitting at the door.
Right. So I'm really great at being on time. You need me on time somewhere, like um but so back then, like I was always on time for everything and I always did the things I had to do, but a lot of it wasn't stuff I had to do on my own, right?
Mm,
Like a lot of it I could do at the workplace where I was doing the work, whatever it was. What else did I have
right.
to do with myself? I didn't have a phone to distract me. I didn't have, like, so that was
Yep.
it. And then I really feel like I got my first iPhone I think in my late 20s, early 30s. Like I had the
Same.
BlackBerry and I
Hmm.
waited. I think I didn't even get one till like iPhone 4. Like, it was
Yeah,
like,
same. I had
yeah,
like a different Android. It wasn't a BlackBerry, but it was a
but it
different
was,
Android phone.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an iPhone, right?
Right.
And
No apps or
no,
hardly.
yeah, right. Like you can just text easier. It made texting better,
It
right?
was
But
so
even then it
easy.
like costs like more money to text and even then I think it was like we had to like hold on to our minutes. You can
Oh
talk to
yeah.
anyone until like 9 p.m. Like
Which is so big. It's like thankfully I don't have any muscle memory of that, thankfully. Because how did we do that? It's bizarre.
we had other things to do, right? That's
Yeah,
why we were so great at time management. It was like, hold
it's
on,
true.
I can't talk right now. I have my minutes. And then we'd hang up and talk at 9 p.m., right?
Yeah.
So, or we had landlines or whatever. So I just feel like ever since my 30s, when I had an iPhone and I had apps and I like, because even like when I was on Facebook in my 20s, like it was like mid to late 20s, it
Mhm.
it was on a desktop, right?
Right.
It wasn't
Yep.
on a phone.
Right. You had to plant your ass in the computer chair for a set amount of time
Yes.
before your fingers were freezing and you were like, I can't sit in this chair anymore.
Yes, exactly. And I didn't have like 800 emails to respond to or delete or archive or go through, right? And so
Yep.
I just feel like with all of this technology, it has made time management even harder for me.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, you're putting into words so many things that I hadn't thought about, but to make that I feel very deep in my bones. That make total sense.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Agreed.
so like I sometimes coach people. I'm not talking about mentoring for kids yoga. I like sometimes coach people on like helping them do new habits or helping them find more, and I will tell you that every single person, it's not a lot, but it's like between like 5 and 10, right, that I've talked to in the last couple years all struggle with time management and feeling like they don't have any time to do anything. But then also, when you look at the time on their phone, it's like 7, 8 hours a day. It's like,
Oh God. I chuckled to myself because earlier today I had sent you a reel that was sent to me about like it was a
mm-hmm,
stand-up comedian talking
mm-hmm.
about like, the fad that a lot of people consider mindfulness to be. You and I know it's not a fad. It's actually a very, very deep and important practice that can be extremely helpful in many aspects and areas of a person's life.
Yes.
But we digress for that for a moment. But this guy was just being funny. He was like, we didn't have a choice but to be mindful for our whole freaking lives because there was nothing to distract us. He's like, I don't remember
Mm-hmm.
the last time I took a shit. He's like, I didn't take a shit in the last 10 years by
Yeah,
myself.
I know.
Just
I
thinking
know.
about
That
how
was my
often
favorite
people,
part. Yeah.
the best part. And he was like, when I was on the bus as a kid and I was bored, I stared at the condensation at the window. I love that part too.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually gave me like a visceral muscle memory of doing that, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
how much I enjoyed just sitting quietly on the bus, just staring at the window.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it was a funny reel, but also made a lot of sense.
It's so true. Because even the thing is that even if we like put our phone in our pocket and we're like, I'm just going to be present for the bus ride, we wouldn't, because our society has now trained us into thinking that we always need to be doing something. Right? Like, because even if I'm not scrolling, which is
Mhm.
now like a leisure activity, right? People like come
Yeah.
home from work, they're tired, they scroll. Right. That sucks. But anyway, even if you're not scrolling, you're like, oh, I gotta check my email. Oh, I have to reply to that text. Oh, there's always something that we have to do. So like the luxury of like watching the condensation, like can't even happen now because we're addicted to our phones, but also we're trained that we always have to be doing something.
Right. Yeah, or that we're missing something, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not just the productivity, but also like what might be what. And I like the way you said it's not just scrolling on like a social media app, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
what like we're both small business owners, right? It's like I've got to check my email like 12 times a day. When I say gotta, do I really gotta? No,
Right.
I don't.
Right.
Right? But like you said, our society, our addiction to technology and the ability to connect with each other 24/7 yells at me when I'm having a quiet, maybe a mindful moment and says, what are you doing relaxing right now? You should be checking your email and responding to like those dozen people that you are putting up. And so, yeah, it just winds up feeling like, when am I supposed to have the time, not just literally, but energetically to tackle all the stuff that I not only have to do, right, for say making money or having a living or, work life, but also the
Mm-hmm.
things that bring me joy, right, that
Right.
I want to do with my time that would fill my cup.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's just designed, unfortunately, to feel like an impossibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Because when you make a to-do list, one, do you even get through the entire list in a day? When you like,
Are you
not your,
asking me or are you asking like the ether?
oh, I'm asking you, like, when you make a to-do list, is it realistic? Are you like,
Typically, yeah.
you're like, I need to do these three things. And on it, you don't include stuff, or you do include stuff like laundry, and you include like
Nope.
food shop, or you see, I include
So,
those things because I need
food
to
shopping,
remember that.
maybe.
Okay.
Food shopping,
Okay.
maybe. It really depends on the task, then, I guess is my answer.
Okay.
Some tasks are just rote behavior, right? And so I'm not writing them down on the to-do list. And unfortunately, that includes the joy, right? Or things that like I should be carving out the time to do. Um,
Yeah,
but
wait, does read a book ever make your to-do list? Because it doesn't. I mean,
never.
I read, but
You're
like
just doing it anyway. Right,
yeah,
exactly.
it's
But it's
never
not going to
like
go on the list.
right, which is messed up. It should go on the
It
list.
should go on the list is the
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be the joyless fuckery that we've got to
Yes.
do that goes on the fucking list. Because then we don't want to look at the damn list. And I'm like, I literally, while we were chatting before you hit record, I added something to our list,
Mm-hmm.
to my to-do list for
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wasn't even 100% present with our pre-recording conversation that was only like a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
While we were chit-chatting, if I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember to write this
I
down
know.
now, it won't
I
get done
know.
was what went through my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. And now it's on the list,
now it's
but
on the
no
list.
joy is included. And let's be honest, if you did include read a book, wouldn't you save that for last?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
it'd be the one thing
Or
on the list that I didn't do.
right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. It's so funny. I was listening to a podcast earlier and the guest was Dr. Becky. Do you know Dr. Becky?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured you did,
Yeah.
but if anyone doesn't know Dr. Becky, just hurry up and Google this woman. She
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, she's like I think she's called the millennial parenting whisperer. She's a psychologist. I mean, she's an incredible like resource for certainly for educators and parents and people that are working
Mm-hmm.
closely with children of all ages. But I mean, yes, we're educators, but I don't have children. But I find so much of what she shares to be helpful just for like human interactions or for what I'm
Yes.
dealing with as a person
Right.
living in a difficult world, right? And so anyway, she was talking to the host of the podcast I was listening to, and they were talking about time management a little bit. They were talking about um pausing for self-care, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it was, and she's like, I always write down in my scheduler or in my calendar or whatever, same 6 words. And it's and now of course I'm not going to remember it specifically, but
Yeah.
like I'm not, of course I'm like I set myself up here. I'm like, here's 6 words, warriors, and I'm about to give you more than 6 words, but the general gist, right?
I'm
The
gonna
general I'm
reframe it the way my brain
gonna
remembered it.
reframe it. The general gist was like, your needs matter. I think this is it. Your needs matter. Do not cancel. And it's whenever she had something in her calendar that was for her. So if it was a
Ah.
massage or if it was a coffee date with a friend or whatever,
Yeah.
she literally would have an asterisk next to that thing that says, your needs matter. Do not cancel. I'm 100% sure that those were the 6 words. Good job, me.
Okay.
Pat myself on
Nice.
the back.
Nice. Good
But I
reframe.
loved that. I felt like, fuck yes, like we all need to actually write down the things in our calendars or on our notes app and our to-do file or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, wherever we put our to-do lists, post-it note, whatever you got that works for you, warriors. And then whatever is scheduled that is joyful, your needs matter.
Yeah.
Do not cancel,
On
right?
you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I just heard it today, I wanted to bring it up because I was like,
No, it's good. It's like, how do you
yes.
embody that? Right. It's like,
Mm.
now I have to add this to my to-do list. I have to remember, like, not to cancel my,
Well, one of the hosts was funny too, because she was like, can we also cross out things that are currently on our to-do list and say, cancel this, your needs matter,
yeah.
must cancel. And
Yeah.
Dr. Becky was like, hell yeah.
But
Right?
then it's gonna be like the next day, like it's still gonna be there. Like I
Depends on
definitely
the task. Depends on the task.
okay, that's true.
Right?
That's true. But a lot of my tasks, if I
Right.
don't get to one day,
Yeah.
still there the next day.
True.
What interfere like when we're talking about time management, right?
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, I have these things to do and this is on my to-do list because you're good at managing time for the gigs you have to show up for,
Yes.
right? So then
Mhm.
what interferes with the other areas of time management for you?
I think some of it is just my resistance to doing some of those things that feel less fun or interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like I am resistant to sitting down at my computer. always.
Yes, I
I'm
know.
resistant to sitting down because usually what that means is like right now I'm sitting at my computer. I'm recording this episode with you. I'm having fun. It
Right.
feels like connection. It's joyful. We're chatting. It's lighthearted and we're friends, right?
Right.
But generally speaking, when I'm sitting at my computer, I have to get my mind into a task oriented place, right?
Yeah.
Usually, also, that the tasks that are having to happen at my desktop
Mm-hmm.
are things that don't bring me a lot of internal joy,
Mm-hmm.
like invoicing, like
Mm-hmm.
responding to emails, like, you know, doing work related things that are considered more like admin work, paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
It just, those things suck about my job. And so like I think what is always my issue is trying to navigate my internal resistance to those things
Mm-hmm.
and offer myself the tools that I need around my computer time in
Mm-hmm.
order to make it feel palatable and doable. And usually what that looks like is creating a boundary around how much time I'm willing to sit down
Yes.
today on my
Yes.
computer. That's usually
Mm-hmm.
step 1. It's today I have half hour at around this time to
Mm-hmm.
get these 5 things done, right? And usually
Right.
those are on my to-do list on my notes app, right? That's typically where sometimes it's just on a note in my desktop or whatever. Usually it's on my phone because hello, we just said it's attached
Mm-hmm.
to us 24/7.
Yep.
So then it's about creating the boundary, setting a timer on my phone, or just trying to be aware of it
Yeah.
and making sure that whatever happens before that thing and after that thing, I try to give myself a minimum of 5 minutes before and after my computer time of doing something that's going to serve me physically or mentally.
Yeah.
Whether that's, a quick breathing practice, or maybe it's having a snack or like drinking a cup of tea. These are random examples, but like I'm trying to almost like give myself a pre-reward and then a you did it
Mm-hmm.
reward,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like afterwards, like, good job, Margot. You sat down and you held your boundary and you got some stuff done that
Mm-hmm.
you had no excitement about doing. Here's a little treat. Maybe it's,
Mm-hmm.
getting to read for a few minutes. Maybe I don't have that much time. Maybe I'm going to send you a funny reel or a meme and that gives me joy for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always going to be like, well, now I'm going to get a half hour nap because I did
Mm-hmm.
that 30 minutes of admin work. No. Is it like that sometimes? Yeah, sure. But
Right.
for the most part, it's just like, what can I do to make this really boring shit that I don't want to do a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more palatable?
Right. Right. There's
So that's usually
an
the
end
resistance.
goal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about you?
So I relate to the resistance. There's definitely that, especially when I know it's something like that's gonna like make my mind like it's gonna be mind numbing or frustrating. If it has to do with technology, if it has to do with, you know, anything like that, I'm like, okay, I'm very resistant to that. So that definitely interferes with me sitting down and doing the task. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think also I I get easily distracted with things that I need to do, but maybe aren't the most important thing to do for the day.
Yeah.
Right. So I like have a plan to do something, to work on something, to whatever it is, like a bigger project. Right. And then it's like, oh, I have to do the laundry, or, oh, and then I get distracted by doing those things.
Right.
And then I think sometimes also I mismanage how much time I think a task will take.
Mm.
So, I mean, this is like a not a great example, but it's the first one coming to mind. Like sometimes I will make a really quick video to upload on Instagram, right? And I think that this shouldn't take more than 10 minutes, right? And I don't edit my videos. We were just talking about this before our conversation, like about Instagram Reels. Like I don't edit my videos. I literally I record it on my regular camera video, right? It has to be underneath 90 seconds. I've really stopped caring about retakes. I'm like, nope, here it is, right?
Yeah.
So at most, I'm taking like 3 minutes at most to make a video, right? Then I upload it to put on the reel. And then for some reason with me and Instagram, I just really feel like it's an abusive, toxic relationship. I really do. I think this a lot about me and Instagram. It all of a sudden won't upload. or it won't upload with the captions correctly. We
Mhm.
were talking about that, how it cuts it off halfway. I recently did a reel where I was sharing all this stuff and it stopped after I said the word eye pillows. And I tried multiple times to fix it and it wouldn't fix. And finally I was like, fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Fuck it. But I try to fix it for like 30 fucking minutes first when I think this thing is going to be 10 minutes. And then it ends up being like 45 minutes of my time. And then I'm
Right.
so angry. I don't even
Yeah.
want to do anything else. And so then I go find something like make lunch, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
You
those
hit a brick wall and it's like, fuck this.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so I chose the less important task because really, honestly, I don't know what my reels are really doing. They're not helping with my small business, right? That's okay. I'm fine with that. But why am I choosing to do that? Probably because I'm trying to resist doing the other thing that's going to take more brain energy, more focus, more concentration. But then I still think it's 10 minutes. And then instead of 10 minutes, it ends up being at least 45 minutes. And I'm leaving frustrated at the end.
Right. It does.
And then I check. Then I check. When I don't upload reels, I'm not checking for comments, likes, DMs.
Right.
I'm not looking.
You're
But the
just like
moment
off the app after that.
yeah. But if I upload something, then I'm like, every time like I have a lull in my day, oh, let me look. Oh, there's a comment. Let me make a reply. Oh my God, this and that. And then that ruins my time management too.
Yeah. Right. That it's all goes back to the technology. My question for you is when you misread how long a task is going to take, right? Or the task maybe if it even was going to take you 10 minutes, but then you got a phone call that was important
Mm-hmm.
in between and it makes you pause, right? Or whatever. How does that impact what would have come after that time frame? Like, let's pretend like you don't have work to get to immediately, right? Like, what is usually your next go to then? Is it just like, and maybe try to release like the fact that, like, say that example of Instagram is like you feel rage and anger after that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe there's just like a normal task where you're like, I need to do X and I think it's going to take 10 minutes. And then in the reality, because of distractions or the dogs or whatever else, it takes 30. How
Mm-hmm.
does that impact what's next, or does it?
It all depends. So if this is a task, and we don't have to talk about Instagram, but if it's a task where I think it's going to be 30 minutes and it has to do with technology and something isn't working with technology, right? Am I like updating my website? I'm not, but I'm just using an example like that. Or am I trying to do an invoice on Stripe? Or am I, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if
Yeah.
those take longer than they should, or the user interface is shitty, right?
Yep.
Then that it just makes me feel hopeless and angry and frustrated and I hate it all and why am I doing this and all that, right? So
Yeah.
in when it comes to technology, it usually throws me off. But if it's just like the dogs needing to go to the bathroom, it's an inconvenience, it's a little bit annoying. It's like, hi, can you wait until I'm ready? But okay,
Right.
all right. But then I usually can get back to the task.
So, I mean, how does the like emotional weight change? Right? Is it also just as dependent on like what the holdup was, or what, like, is it about the task then, or do you find that, say, not getting things done, generally speaking, in the time frame that you thought it would take, like, is it always anger? What are some of the other like emotions that come up when these
Oh,
kinds of
like
issues come
sometimes it's
up?
just like, oh, whatever, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As long if it's not technology, then it's not a big
Oh,
deal. Then it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But when it's
interesting.
technology and, again, I have this narrative about we are all contributing to Instagram being, rich. So
Yeah,
work for us. Don't waste our time.
for real.
Right.
Right.
But if it's other things that interrupt me, like my dogs or an unplanned phone call or whatever, then I'm like, oh, whatever. And I get back to my to do list or,
Interesting.
yeah.
For me, I struggle with that a lot. Getting back on track is really hard,
Mm.
right? And then I
No
think it's
matter the emotion.
no matter the emotion, I being distracted by something that wasn't the task is
Mm-hmm.
then I'm usually able to get back to it, but I have a lot more mental turmoil getting back to it. I have a lot more
Mm-hmm.
resistance regardless of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
technology or otherwise. Like I'm just like, oh, like that thing, just that distraction has taken me now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
And so sometimes I do need to walk away from whatever it is I was doing before because my body or my brain won't let me sit back down or do or get to it unless it's go to class, right? Like
Yeah.
that is like the only thing where the distractions or the emotions around whatever it is that's taking too much time or that I'm struggling with in terms of time. That's the only thing that is consistently not an issue for me to get back to,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on it.
I mean,
I'm
that's the
working on
thing. I really think that I really think that with iPhones and, the new Androids and all the other phones, I don't know what they are all included. Anything with an app is included, right? I'm just saying iPhones, maybe I should say smartphones, but I really think with smartphones and with apps and with everything in a handheld device, it is so much harder for us
Yeah.
to navigate the world, right?
Yes.
And so I think we're all learning again, like how to have time management and what that means and what that looks like. And also, like, yes, as a small business, there's things you have to do, right? But I do wonder if I just had like a 9 to 5 job where it started at 9, it ended at 5, and I wasn't carrying over anything, would my
Hmm.
time management be different?
Yeah.
Right? Might
I
be.
mean, I don't know. Might be. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we're just all like relearning how to manage our time when now we have a handheld device. Like if we look at them, like, and we look at how many hours we spend on it a day,
Mm.
right? It's like, I bet nobody really wants to share those numbers.
I have
Personally,
that feature turned off on my phone. I don't need that kind of guilt or shame.
right, right. And like, honestly, like if it was like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, right? And it's really unfair because like Google Maps is included on that and audiobooks is included on that, but still, that's everything on a
Right.
phone,
It's like
right?
using apps. Yeah.
It's like I don't want to admit how long I've been on that. Like I don't
Yeah.
lie, but I might lie about that, right? Like that's how shameful it is. It's
Yeah.
so I think we're
I hear you.
all learning how to be in this world now and manage our time when we have something that's constantly needs our time, wants our time, takes our time.
Takes it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be like your one active practice around all of this? Like, what's like one go-to takeaway that you'd love the warriors to know about like dealing with time management issues or any of that?
To practice. I mean, I got nothing. I'm still figuring out and learning. What I will say is and this doesn't really have to do with time management. It just has to do with my issues with me and my phone and Instagram and everything is I very much in the evenings replace the habit of being on my phone with reading books.
Yeah. Okay.
And that has like I feel less shitty about my life now that I'm reading instead of being on Instagram. Like for real, there was
Yeah.
like a lot of comparing myself to others and like all that stuff that comes up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is less. And so that practice doesn't fit in with time management, but it fits in with my relationship to technology.
Mm-hmm.
Um in regards to time management, no. What I will say is nothing's worked for me, right? Like there's all those damn books. There's all
Yeah.
those different things. There's like turn your phone up, do this, do that. No, no. Because my habits are way more clever than me. They figure
Mm.
out all the ways to get distracted and do the thing. So
I
I just
love that honesty. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. I get my
That's
shit
good.
done and I feel real good when I get my whole to-do list done. I will say one thing we didn't talk about is like in to-do lists and time management, like I will actually choose joy before like making a phone call. Like if I have to make a phone call to like make a doctor's appointment, I put that off for at least days, but longer
Yeah.
than that. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, just the idea of call, like I don't know why.
Calls,
There's so
phone
much
calls.
resistance there.
Phone calls suck for us warriors.
Yes. Yes.
I haven't met a single anxiety warrior that likes talking on the phone about like a bit like about I mean a doctor's appointment isn't a business thing, but like about when I say business, right? I mean like things that aren't for pleasure, like calling a
Right.
friend or a family member or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Like, when you've got work to do on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any anxiety word that's like, that's fine for me. I
I'm
love that.
excited to call the doctor's office and schedule an appointment and tell them about my insurance and
Yeah, I love
what's
dealing with, I was
going
just about to say,
on.
I
And
love insurance. Who
yeah.
doesn't love insurance calls? Oh
Oh
my God.
God. Yeah.
Please, 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 please. I can't. My heart's racing.
See? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's
Yeah.
good advice.
What about you? What advice do you have for the warriors?
Well, about the technology piece, I am back on the train of like, for a long time, and you know this because I would tell you, like, and I would tell my people, my phone's charging upstairs. I'm away from it. And I'm back on that train in this new year so far, where like, similar to you, I'm not like reading instead of scrolling, but I just have my phone completely away from my physical
Mhm.
body. So like hours will go by without me looking at it for
Yeah.
any reason. And my one active practice, and like I very much relate to like mostly nothing's like super concrete and helpful all the time. Some of the stuff I shared before, are my go-tos about boundary setting around and about giving myself opportunities for joy before and after things that I struggle with in terms of my own time management or tackling tasks that I don't want to tackle or don't feel great or interesting or fun. But the one of the biggest ones I think is just reminding myself that the world's going to keep turning.
Yes.
That like
Yep.
it's all okay. Not getting stuff done today or tomorrow or next week even for the most part. Right? Like I'm speaking
Mm-hmm.
generally here, people. Don't take this so literally. But like it's all okay. And I feel like I'm always worried about people people's perceptions of my professionalism or who I am as a friend if I don't respond or get back to that person about X or make sure I'm timely with that email or whatever it is. I think part of my problem with it is always the fear of upsetting or disappointing other people. And so remembering that the world's going to keep going, that there'll be space for this again tomorrow, maybe, or soon, right? That it
Mm-hmm.
can and will get done at some point. That maybe I need to ask for help with it. And there's no shame in that either. And that like a lot of people are dealing with this. And that's the other reminder. It's just like, I want to I think a lot more people are more gracious than we think they are in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that even without me emailing someone to say, "Hey, I'm so sorry. It's going to take me an extra couple of days to get you that information that I told you I was going to get you by today. I'm so sorry I can't get you that information." And then that person responds with, "It's cool.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it."
Right. Yep.
Like, "Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that."
Right.
And I'm just like, "Well,
Exactly.
fuck. All right.
Thanks,
Why was I
society.
freaking out?" Right. And
Yeah.
so it's just like remembering that like there's some grace to be had amongst all of us. And like if we're usually willing to give it to other people,
Mm-hmm.
should be better practice more giving it to ourselves when it comes to time management issues.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my 2 cents, warriors. So take some time today or this week to consider how time management anxiety shows up in your life. If it
Mm-hmm.
does, if you have mastered time management
Oh my God.
and you feel like as an anxiety warrior, this is your bread and butter. This is like
Mm-hmm.
you've got these skills and tools on lock. Please email us, DM us on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
We want to talk to you. If you haven't been a guest on
Yes.
our show, let's chat about how
If
you
you've been a
became this
guest on
kind
our
of
show,
yeah.
come back. Like,
Come back and let's jump
yeah.
on live or something on IG and talk about this.
Yeah.
Um,
Teach
because
us.
I feel like this is something that so many warriors that especially those of us that also have ADHD or other, mental health
Mm-hmm.
related things going
Mm-hmm.
on might struggle with. And so reach out to us. We'd love to hear what's working for you, what's not. Take some time to just reflect on it for yourself. Maybe put it in your to-do list. Think about time management.
Yeah. How's my
Overthink about lack
how's
of
my
time.
scheduling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So there you go, warriors. Your little homework assignment for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it helps.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Marco,
Yeah.
do you have a win of the week? Win of the week.
I do have a win. I have a big win. Just yesterday, I was chatting with some friends and they were maybe going to be coming to New York next month, but then like stuff was going on with one of them for work and the other one was like unsure about like how flights and whatever. And they both just decided that they are going to make it to New York next month. And it was
Yay.
like a surprise and it's just like less than 2 weeks away that they're going to be here and I'm excited. I'm excited to see
Yes.
them and spend a long weekend together. And I mean, they're not staying here, but like, we have a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff planned for that weekend now, and I'm just psyched to be able to connect with them in person. Because it's been a minute since we've seen each other together in person. So that is my
That's
win.
a huge win. I love
Yeah, it's
that.
a good
Yeah.
time. Yes, so I'm happy about that. We got something to look forward to. But
Yes.
yeah. All right,
Nice.
Warriors. We love you so much. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you'd like to connect with us for any reason, join our Instagram fam. We're at Anxiety Warriors Podcast. Or you can shoot us an email at anxietywarriorspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your small or big wins of the week. Shout out any topic ideas that you have for us. And if you think you would be an amazing guest on our show, let us know. Hit us up.
Mm-hmm.
Take a moment and smash the 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're tuning in. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All of our episodes are uploaded for you over there. And if you are in need of something fun or cozy for yourself this chilly winter season and you want to rep Anxiety Warriors Podcast kick-ass merch, head
Mm-hmm.
on to our show notes. Click the link in our show notes. Our Threadless merch shop has so much good stuff. Get
Mm-hmm.
yourself something fun. Get something for the warrior in your life.
Yeah. One of our previous guests just purchased an Anxiety Warrior t-shirt. They're very excited for it.
I'm excited
Told
for
me.
them. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited for them.
I
Love
hope they
it. I
take a
love
pic.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you all so much for going on this journey with us. We're so grateful we get to do this with y'all.
Till next time.